Hi, I'm Ben, and today we're going to be talking about one of my biggest annoyances as a frostbiker or a winter cyclist. So I bike commute every single day. I have a few videos on that. You can either click here, wait, is it here or here? I'll put a card that you can click on for the other video that I talk about me hitting 10,000 kilometers biking on this e-bike. One of my greatest annoyances when I talk to people and say that I bike during the winter is that they're befuddled. They're like, wait, what? It's Canada. How do you bike in the winter? And the thing is, it's not that cold. Obviously, I'm not even wearing a toque right now. I just saw a coyote over there. So I was like, oh, look, another coyote.
I just lost her leash.
It's a common misconception that biking during the winter is just a no-go in Canada. When in reality, today, I'm not even wearing a toque. Like, this is ridiculous. It's so warm out. It's +7, and there's been a few days like this. Now, last week, there were a few days that were really cold. They were about -21, or felt like -21. On those days, I still biked. But if you were a regular cyclist, maybe you wouldn't bike on those days. But it's December 22nd today. Wait, is it? Yeah, it's Christmas in 3 days, and here I am biking. And I'm not in a hat. And like, I think people assume that even in Canada, it's impossible to bike because it's always cold and it's always snowy and it's always slushy and it's just impossible. When in reality, most days it's like this. Or maybe it's a little bit like -10 or something. When you're biking, that is not cold. You warm up so rapidly because you're pedaling. So I have an e-assist on my bike, and that allows me to regulate kind of some days when I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed. I can still get out of bed, and maybe I rely a little bit more on my motor assist and it gets me there, but it allows me to not own a second car. So my girlfriend owns the one car and she's actually out of town, so I rely on this. I'm headed downtown right now. That's why I'm on this random path. And yeah, on the roads, it's not snowy at all. I want to cover this. A lot of people assume that I'm riding through the snow every single day, but my commute is on a main road for the most part. So yeah, it might be that on the side roads, I have to be a little bit more careful and it takes me a bit more time to navigate because the roads have not been plowed yet, especially in the mornings. In the evenings, it's actually not that bad at all because they're nice and warmed up, just like the main road. So once I get to the main road, after about maybe, I don't know, 4 minutes of riding, it's a loud siren. I'm gonna let that go. It's a lot of sirens happening. So I leave at about 8 o'clock in the morning to do my commute. And cars have already been going to and from on the roads, and the exhausts are hot, the cars are hot, the tires are hot. So the snow gets melted away. And it might be slushy, but it's not slippery. Even on icy days, well, actually that's one of the days where I would take an Uber or something. So I think that people really underestimate how easy it is to bike during the winter, especially when you hit main roads or things have been plowed. It's not a big deal at all. On the side roads, you have to be a little bit careful. That's fine. But when you get to the main roads, for 90% of my commute, it's like it's summertime. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about how people think that you get really, really cold during the winter biking. In reality, it's the other side. I overheat way more often than me getting cold. There have been several times where I get so hot and I'm kind of just getting so sweaty that I have to pull over to a side road and just take off my jacket and take off my underneath layers and then continue on my way because it's just, the weather said it was gonna be cold. And it wasn't. I just overdressed. It is always good to overdress because you can always take off layers, but this is why everyone will always tell you, who explores during winter time outside, that layers are important because you don't want to wear a huge parka and that's the only thing you're wearing, because if you overheat when you're doing things, you can open it, I guess, but then you get too cold. Layers is key. You can adjust to how cold it is in reality and on the go. I guess the one thing that will get cold, so your ears, if you don't protect those, will get cold. And if you have a balaclava on, what happens, I have goggles as well, because otherwise you tear up around your eyes and then that just causes a little bit of chaos. They're just, these actually, they're just like safety goggles. These are literally 99 cents after shipping from eBay. They take 2 months to come in, but I would recommend them. Or anything else. They don't have to be huge snow goggles. They just need to work. What I do is I put Vaseline right around here. It's a weird trick that maybe I'll make a whole video on. The goggles take the brunt of it, and then the cheeks kind of get the they have the gap right here between the balaclava going up and then the goggles being here. So right here sometimes and right here get really cold because of the wind exposure, because you're just... Hi. So, as I was saying, when you have these on and you have this on, what happens is, one, they fog up. That's one of my biggest problems. And then right here is where you put the Vaseline. And then I just wipe it off when I get to the other side. That's the most ridiculous thing. I just wanted to mention and put out there that it's actually not that bad to bike during the winter, especially on days like this. I wish I could see way more cyclists out. It's like, I had so much on when I came here. When I started biking today, I thought it was gonna be way colder. Even though it said +7, I thought it was gonna be way colder. I had like a sweater on and I started sweating through that. I had this on, which probably on the way back when it gets a bit darker, I'll probably wear my balaclava. One more thing is when you are on the side of the road and you have a flat tire, you need to make sure that you have some dexterity gloves. So you can have huge mittens that I don't have right now. I'll show them right here. These are my favorite mittens ever because I've biked in -30-degree weather with nothing except for my hands going in them and nothing else. No underlayers or anything like that. I do carry my smaller gloves as well because then if I do have to change a flat or something like that ridiculous, then at least I can still do that and I have the dexterity of my fingers instead of just the mittens. It is getting a little bit darker and I'm getting actually a little bit of a chill because I've now stopped moving. So I'm gonna get back on my bike. I'm gonna get back downtown to do my errands and maybe I'll put this on. No, once I start going, see, here's the problem. You start in the morning or you start in the evening biking and you're like, oh, it's cold. And then you start biking and then you warm up and you realize just how ridiculous like having so many layers on is. And so you end up figuring it out. But for this journey, because I wasn't sure how intensive it was gonna be, going from North York to downtown, I made sure I brought extra layers. I would say like 80% of the days, it's the most regular thing you could possibly do. Just get on your bike and go. If people are interested, because I do bike to an office and then I wear khakis and a dress shirt. Well, a polo shirt, whatever. But I don't bike in that. What I do is I leave the khakis at work and then once a week-ish, I bring them home and I wash them, that's fine. But you can wear pants for more than a day without washing them. I bring a bunch of different polos to work, that's fine. I leave them in a drawer there. I wear these are a thermal layer. This is a rip in my pants. I have a black pair of T-Max thermal layer from Mark's Work Warehouse underneath my jeans. Now these are not the normal jeans that I wear. It's really warm today, so I decided to wear actual jeans. They're just a thin layer. But normally I wear a pair of thermal jeans. They have a thermal layer in them and they're amazing. I wear them almost all winter. It gets to a point in like October where I'm like, oh, it's that time, and I put them on. And I wear those for the majority of the winter until days like this where I wear regular jeans and a thermal layer underneath. From Mark's Work Warehouse, they're just T-Max thermal layer. They're like 50, 60 bucks, something like that. These ones have lasted me, I don't know, like 5-6 years. So I use them every single winter. They're great. Oh, you can put them under normal jeans just like this as well. So if I didn't have a rip in this knee, you wouldn't be able to tell that I'm wearing them. Whew, yeah, I'm starting to get a chill. I guess I have been here for 25 minutes because so many people go by. It takes a while to film. I've been getting colder and only in the last 5 minutes have I started to feel it. Because quite literally, right now, even though it's winter, I'm just wearing like a t-shirt. Like this is just, whew. I hope you enjoyed and I hope you kind of realize that frostbiking is not as insane as some people might think. This is coming from me in Toronto area. If you're in Nunavut, maybe this doesn't count. Maybe it is extraordinarily like -60 and you would die if you don't have a vehicle. But in Toronto area, it's doable most of the time. Again, my objective is going to be trying to bike every single day to work throughout a whole year. That includes the winter, but I'll keep you updated. And speaking of that, if you are this far in the video and, well, you're listening to me right now, then smack that like button because you've obviously liked the video. And because you like this video, you'll probably like any other videos that I come up with. So because of that, if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe and click the bell notification icon so that when I put out a video, you get notified. Lastly, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'm gonna go unfreeze. Here, you get to watch me. Just charging my GoPro. I will probably put this on. Whew, I am getting pretty cold. I'm gonna have to work my temperature back up again.